This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, if you hit Nick with a lightsaber, he turns to green dust.
That's true.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
We should just do this whole episode as an ASMR thing. Just do some...
All in echo.
Oh, goodness. Hi, Rob. How
Hello.
are you?
Use the Force,
Use
Luke.
the Force. That is, I've never seen or thought I wanted to see
Darth Vader
the
on
Dark
the toilet.
Lord of the Sith with his pants around his ankles.
Yep.
Dropping some knowledge.
Dropping and dropping the kids off at the pool.
That's what they say, right?
That's what they say.
Bantha Milk Podcast here with your Star Wars and poo references.
Poo.
Happy Wednesday, I guess. It's like the eve of the end of things right now, but we are back.
It's the end of days.
End of our days, anyway. But we're back after yet another episode of Ahsoka, episode 4.
Episode 4.
Was it 4? Yeah, Fallen Jedi.
Fallen Jedi. We're at the halfway mark.
Which is funny because at one part of the maybe it's a little on the nose, but at one part of the episode, a Jedi falls.
Yeah.
So you think that was what the episode title was about? Was it about Ahsoka falling off the cliff?
I think it was about a Jedi named Ahsoka falling off the cliff. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we have that,
or it could be a little
bit
more, not literal, where maybe Sabine falls to the dark side.
I think it's more likely that it's about Ahsoka falling off a cliff.
I think so too.
Because
right?
That just makes sense.
Because what was the highlight? Oh, Ahsoka fell down. That's too long. How about Fallen Jedi? Perfect.
Love it.
Let's go with that.
And it's nice too because it really leaves us on a cliffhanger. Like, I wonder if Ahsoka's alive or not.
Literal cliffhanger. You saw her her one hand on the edge of the cliff, holding on there. Yeah.
Wasn't that a movie, Cliffhanger?
That was it. Yes, with Sylvester Stallone.
That's right.
Yes.
I don't like heights, so I don't think I ever really got into that movie.
He's a rock climber that is also a spy. I don't know.
That sounds like a Sly Stallone movie.
Every Sly Stallone.
I think that's all of his movies, right?
Yes.
Except for Rocky.
Except for Rocky and the one where he's a truck driver and he's an arm wrestler.
Oh, I don't know that.
Over the Top.
I've never seen that one.
Oh my God!
Is that an older Sly Stallone?
Yeah, it's an older Sly Stallone, but it's
like
one
an
of
80s Sly Stallone.
Yeah, it's an 80s. It's so bad, but it has one of my favorite lines in it. He wears a baseball hat the whole time. And when I was a kid, like, I used to love wearing baseball hats also. Now I have to wear baseball hats because if I don't, my head gets sunburned. But back then, I love to wear, and especially watching this movie, but he, when he would get into, it was a movie about arm wrestling. So, a classic 80s movie.
Listen, man, there's an emoji movie now, all right?
There is.
An arm wrestling movie, whatever.
It means, it's no surprise at this point. But before every match, he would turn his hat around.
Oh,
and his line was, "It's like a switch. Now I'm turning it on." And then he's like, "Let's go." And then he would win every match because he turned that because the hat was backwards. Yeah. So when you're a 10-year-old kid in the 80s and Sylvester Stallone turns his hat around,
you also turn your head around.
It's like a switch, man.
Yeah.
And
I like that your Sly Stallone has just this merest wisp of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, and
just
I don't
a little
know.
bit.
I need to hear just Sly so that I can do
it's
it
hard
better.
To really,
but I'm
Adrian.
thinking, It's like a switch.
There
there you go. It's more
it's
like
a little more New York accent, a little less
Austrian accent. Yeah. So Over the Top was the third movie when you type in "over" that shows up in IMDb. Over the Garden Wall from 2014. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975. Now, that's a good over movie. And then 1987, Over the Top.
Hey, that's the year I was born.
So there you go. I was, enjoying it as a kid, and you were born that day.
I was born late 1987.
Right. So you would have been like watching Bluey instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we had that. It's like a switch. So anybody who's pushing 50 knows that.
Now, if you're sitting here and wondering why are they not talking about Star Wars, it just seems like this is airtime that could be better used towards the story. Well, this ties perfectly in with the series Ahsoka,
right?
Because
it's so slow.
Oh my god! And we'll talk about it. But like, man, I like it. This could have been 2 episodes. The last 4 episodes. Like,
yes.
The whole first part of the season could have been 2 episodes. Like, there were so many parts of the episode today where I'm like, okay, can we? I see you looking at each other and you're holding your lightsabers threateningly. Can we maybe move it along here? We know where this is going.
You're not building the tension as much as you think you are.
And it happened twice.
Slowing things down.
It happened with Marok and it happened with what's his name? Who's calling you?
Balin. Balin's calling me.
Balin Skull's calling you?
Balin Skull's calling me, yes.
That's really impressive.
It is impressive.
All right. Well, is he saying, hey man, I just hopped on this giant ring.
Yep, and I'm flying out.
We're coming up. Maybe this is where Thrawn is.
Thrawn is in my basement.
He's down here somewhere.
He's down here in the basement.
This is why Rob shaved his beard. I want to make sure everyone understands.
Yes. I broke Nick's heart yesterday when he saw me for the first time.
It really was heartbreaking. You didn't even mention it to me. You didn't send me like a warning.
Surprise. No,
you didn't try and ease me into it. You just appeared before me.
So I didn't
even get a chance to say goodbye.
You didn't. One of my volleyball kids today saw me, and he was like, he goes like this and like rubs his chin, and I go, yeah. He goes, why?
Yeah.
And I go, why not? And he was like,
I could think of a reason.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't shaved since then.
Yeah, you are sporting some stubble here. Yeah. Are you having some second?
Well, I don't know.
Thoughts?
It's this, and instead of I'm pointing to my chin and how I don't have one now because I just have all this turkey gobble fat in my neck because instead of going to the gym and working out again and burning calories, just get a beard.
I mean, honestly, I haven't not had a beard in about 7 or 8 years, and I see pictures of me without a beard, and I'm like, yeah, I have a face for a beard.
Yeah,
I have no chin. At all, and so it ends, and it's just like
and that's what I'm getting at right now. And I think I told you this. Yeah, I told you this when you saw me, but I'm telling the world now. My daughter was so nice of her. She said, "Oh, why did you shave? I don't like it." And then she said, "But then again, I didn't like you with a beard either."
Wow.
So I was like, "Okay, so wait." So she's like,
"Teenagers are a gift.
They are a gift. Wait,
I got some
15
time.
Years.
I'm gonna just."
Enjoy it now.
Lay inside of the baby dome right now.
Enjoy.
She really thinks I'm okay.
Yeah,
she likes me.
Enjoy the fact that she thinks that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Not second to her mom.
Okay, that's just fine. Yeah,
unthrone that, but that's okay.
That's okay.
But so we're here to talk Ahsoka, but we should probably let the people know who we are and where we are, right?
Yes. So
and Rob, crack open that cream. You got to remember, you got to turn it upside down.
Turn it upside down.
You got to hold it there for a
your
minute.
Orange creamsicle. I'm having one of the orange creamsicles. I got to turn it upside down and then turn it back again.
Yeah. Well, Rob is open. Let's hear that crack. That was nice.
That was a good one.
Like, it wasn't the greatest fizz at the beginning, but it was nice.
I think I had
pop.
it the wrong side. Yeah.
It's okay.
So whatever. So cheers. You're not.
Cheers. No, I've got no liquids to imbibe. But we are Bantha Milk Podcast. We are a member of the Ears Up Sphere. Mm-hmm. You can catch the other Ears Up podcasts, including Ears Up, Scraping the Vault, Puny Pod. Give me the ones I'm forgetting.
We got Scraping the Vault, and we have the other one, the Supreme Resort.
I said that one, didn't I?
You said Scraping the Vault, Ears Up In Depth.
Oh.
We got them all now.
How did I miss that one?
I don't know.
I haven't had tacos in a while.
It's okay. They don't listen to it, so it doesn't matter. We can say whatever we want.
Buttholes.
Yeah.
Buttholes over at Supreme Resort.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, check us out on Instagram at Bantha Milk Podcast. Check us out on Facebook at Bantha Milk Podcast. Check out our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Sacred Jedi Texts. Make sure you write a letter to your senator asking them to ensure that Rob's beard grows back. That's all.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's all he's saying.
It's an important issue, and I feel like at this time, this is the moment in history for us to take a stand.
That's right. Stand up for beards everywhere.
Rob's beard
my
specifically.
Beard. Yeah, at least my beard.
Anyway.
So, so there we go. So that's all the other Ears Up stuff, so check them all out. And I'm going to throw Eric a little plug here. If you plan on going to the parks anytime soon, then check out Concierge with an S. Concierge. They will help plan your trip to Disney World or Disneyland. And if you get Jimmy, he really goes all out for you and will even plan all of your meals and everything else and tell you what he thinks you should do. So check out Concierge.
What if I want to go to like Disneyland Paris or Disneyland Tokyo? Will he set me up there too?
They can't do that yet because it's only nationwide.
I see.
But Jimmy did work at Disneyland Paris.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was in, I think he was in the entertainment over there because he was like, he's some, I don't know, so whatever. So
he was probably goofy.
He
was probably in a big goofy suit.
He was, yeah. Well, I mean, that's just what he does now. He he goes into the park as a hobby. Yeah, he doesn't get paid or anything for it.
He's a freelance goofy impersonator that Disney just lets do his thing. That's kind of them.
It's very nice of them.
It's volunteer work. He does it for the kids.
He does it for the kids. That's right. So check them out as well because Eric's a good guy. So support Eric and all those over at Concierge. Why not? We don't get paid for that. I just felt like being nice to Eric. So happy day, Eric.
Happy day.
Eric actually listens to our show, and so does Ryan from PewniePod.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. They were both on the show.
That's right.
All right. That's all we got. I didn't look up any news.
There's not much news,
like
really.
That.
I mean, the one slight news thing that I saw today is that apparently episode 5 of Ahsoka is going to be shown in select theaters nationwide.
Oh.
So, like, I'm not sure if that means
it's only
that, like,
50
something big is coming.
Too. Yeah. Well,
it's a longer episode, so you got to figure there's probably going to be some big stuff going on, right?
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure we'll see Anakin in it.
Well, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a CGI de-aged version.
It wasn't. They definitely de-aged him. They did a better job than they have on other attempts at it, but it's still just a little bit of that, like, what's the unsettling, just
like I'm looking at it, I'm going, like,
something's off.
Something's off. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like something's off. It was like a bad TikTok filter that he had on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly like that. Actually, you expected him to turn his head, and then all of a sudden, the eyes would the mustache would go away.
Wouldn't know
something.
Where to go, and it would show up on his ear for a second, and then get back on his face. Yeah.
So I guess we should just get cracking on breaking down this episode, man. Let's break it down.
Break it down.
Let's just break it all down.
Let's just break it down.
It was 38 minutes after credits.
38 minutes.
And then like 26 minutes after the pauses in the lightsaber combat.
So I think we talked about this before with the speeder bike race, slow, whatever. If you watch that speeder bike chasing in 2x speed, it would look really good.
Sure.
I feel if we watched Ahsoka in like 1.25,
sure, just a little bit faster,
then it would be awesome. It would make so much more sense.
I feel like I'm coming off pretty pessimistic about it, and I kind of am. Like, I like the show. Like, I
like the show as well. Yes,
but it's so frustrating sitting there, like, thinking about all the wasted airtime.
Yeah. And then when it ends, like when the episode's 38 minutes, and like you said, there's probably 5 minutes of extra pausing, you're like, you could have either saved me 5 minutes or given me 5 minutes more of good entertainment.
And it always ends, and I get what they're doing. It's a cliffhanger. It's like, hey, something interesting finally happened. See you next week.
See you next week. Yeah, and then next week, that something interesting lasts for 5 minutes, and then it's back to slowness again.
Well, we'll probably spend about 17 minutes in the world between worlds, just like looking around next episode, just staring at
looking
the
for
nothing.
Which door to go
it's
in.
It's not this door.
Yeah.
Let me walk slowly to that door.
There's another door.
Ooh, I heard something behind me. Let's pause. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, maybe go to that door. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's... anyway, it all started at the beginning with Hu Yang, right? Hu Yang is hanging out. He's fixing... Well, I guess Hu Yang and Sabine, right? They're fixing the ship. Hu Yang's underneath the console somewhere.
I did like the fact that Hu Yang was laying on the ground and trying to fix it from underneath. You've never seen a protocol droid, a two-legged standing droid, like laying down trying to do that before.
Yep.
Like they gave him very human-esque
mannerisms. Yeah,
in
absolutely.
this, which was really funny. Which did you do the AI training today?
I did.
When he showed the robot.
Yeah.
Did you see the robot?
So Boston Dynamics. I've been
robot.
watching, and Bill, he's been on the podcast where he's in machine learning. This is what he does. And so I've been watching videos of Boston Dynamics for years. And seeing how, like, And like the people around me, I just said, like, this is real, right? That's not CGI.
No, but
that
it looks
real.
it looks so creepy.
Yep.
And it looks CGI, but I knew it was real.
Yep.
Because like I've seen those robots evolve from
at the very beginning. They were just kind of like holding something, and then they would push them, and they'd try and
they
not
were
fall
able to
over.
balance themselves.
But now they're like doing backflips off of things, and
like I know that was a program path that he went on. But it was amazing watching him do the back spinning flip off of it.
Yep.
And just like how nimble and how creepy it looks when it runs now, because it like skips. It almost looks like it has like force running, like Jedi force running.
You wouldn't think a machine was that limber.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like it's like running on the moon, or like there's like too much time.
Too much,
And like its legs are little, and I don't know, man, but it was pretty rad.
Check it out if you when you stop the car and you Google Boston Dynamics, right, and watch some of their videos, because some of those, and even like the dogs. I think they had the dogs at one of the Super Bowl halftime shows.
The robot
Boston
dogs,
Dynamic robot dogs,
the ones that like the New York City Police Department has on their
do
staff. Yeah, they've got like a couple $1 million worth of those robot dogs working for them.
That's awesome.
I don't know what the hell they do. They can't sniff for drugs, right? Like,
No.
I doubt.
I mean, they might be able to. They might have smell sensors, whatever that olfactory, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, so back to fake droids, not
Hu
real
Yang.
robots. Hu Yang.
He's hanging out. He's doing some work on the ship with Sabine,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going very quickly.
No.
And Ahsoka's just kind of sitting outside, looking around, like
staring into the what's the LCD room called, not the void, the volume, staring into the volume, which what's his name, Ryan Airy said the lightsaber battles in this don't seem as real because they're battling in the volume, as opposed to even like Kylo Ren, when Kylo Ren was fighting Rey in the woods and there were trees everywhere. They had to interact with the trees and move around the trees and stuff like that. And this, you saw the trees in the background, but they were clearly just there. So they only had the one little area to work in inside the volume. And
I mean, there is a little bit later on where we see some tree action with Hati. Slicing down the trees while she's trying to slice Sabine in half. But.
Yeah, but even with that, there was a one scene where they looked like they had Sabine and her had like run far away, but then there was another camera shot and they were like 10 feet away from Sabine.
Literally about 15 seconds after Hu Yang said, "Hey, don't split up."
Don't split up. They split up. Yeah. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
This is what we do. Mm-hmm. So they're on the ship. Ahsoka's outside looking around going, "Hey, something's not right."
Something's not right.
Sabine comes outside and they have a nice chat about they might we're just going to have to leave Ezra to die.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry, we can't get there.
Yeah, and of course we as fans know. Oh, so they'll probably leave Ezra to die, right? That's
exactly
what's
they
going to happen.
said it, so that's exactly what's going to happen.
So Sabine won't have any internal conflicts about this,
Nope.
and she's certainly not going to do something stupid.
No. Speaking of that,
she's so stupid.
She's
so like, it annoys me how stupid she is in this show.
Because she wasn't that stupid in Rebels.
No, and that's what Pagan said too. Like, like she is fundamentally different. In this show than she was, like a different character.
In Rebels she was definitely,
she was headstrong,
she
but
was
she wasn't.
She was headstrong, but in an aggressive, good way of headstrong, not in a I'll just join the dark side headstrong. But in the beginning, the first episode when they run through all the droids and helmets and stuff, they were all red. First two episodes, and then last week there was red, blue, red, blue.
There was no color, right? Or was there color?
I think it went red, blue, red, blue.
Okay.
But Sabine's helmet stayed red. And this week I watched it again.
Marok was in it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was red. Hu Wang was blue. Chopper was blue.
Interesting.
But then Ahsoka was the last one, and she was still red. And I remember watching it, and I'm thinking, it's interesting, because, the blue is always the good guys, and the red is always the bad guys.
Sure.
So I'm like, oh, that's a little bit of foreshadowing right there, that they left her helmet red because now she's going to turn to the dark side.
Yep.
So who knows, whatever. So so they're talking about how, they need to work together, and then Hu Wang is having a hard time fixing the ship.
You have a hard time with that name.
I do have a hard time with that.
Hu Yang.
Hu Yang. I don't know why I can't
Hu
say
Wang.
Hu Wang. Hu Yang.
Hu Yang?
Hu Yang?
Yang.
Yang.
Who?
Who?
Yang.
Yang. That's right.
Second base.
So, I don't know. Third base.
We just lost our young audience.
I know. Who's pitchers tomorrow? Catchers today? What? I used to know that whole thing. It was yeah.
That's
yeah.
I've tried before. It's just too much for me to remember.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, who's on first? Abbott and Costello.
Right.
Yeah. So Hu Yang is trying to fix underneath, and then Ahsoka and Sabine go back up, and then Hu Yang turns around. Oh, and we also see some guns. There's guns in the woods,
and we see that they're droids. Yeah, because we see his little droid arm turn into a fist. And Ahsoka says, "Be careful out here."
Yes.
And as soon as he said that, she says that, all right, well, so that's all going to go down now.
So something's going to happen.
And I was literally just saying to Pagan, wouldn't it be cool if we got to see Hu Yang throw down? We know he can fight.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Hu Yang, we have a droid fight. And
it's
I'm like, oh my God.
Rock'em Sock'em Robus.
That's literally what I said. I said, God, I hope one of their heads pops off. They could have thrown us that bone.
Oh, that would have been great.
Us enough winks. They could have at least, it didn't have to pop off a silly way. Punch him, head explodes. That's all I need.
Yeah, he could have done an uppercut.
Right.
And even if the head just, pop backward or something like that, it would have been great.
I mean, all we needed.
Yes.
But anyway, do kids know Rock'em Sock'em Robots now?
They've there's an app. There's an app for that. Yeah. So they.
So the droid battle begins, and I guess Hu Yang doesn't have any sirens built in. He only emits sound from his mouth.
Right.
Because the droid covers his mouth when he yells
when
for
he
help.
says help. Yeah. They covered his mouth, which is also funny because nothing on his face moves.
Oh, and another thing that happened during that scene that I laughed, that's like that, he squinted.
Yes.
He was looking out into the distance and he went, squint. And I'm like, did that droid just squint?
Yep,
why would a droid need to squint?
Squinting? And it was also fun. He's punching, he's holding and punching, and then the two backpack arms.
Yeah, that's right. The ones he was kind of training with Sabine with
the light sabers.
The light sticks, essentially.
Light sticks, yeah. But maybe it's because it's metal punching metal, but they weren't really getting very far, either one of them.
Yeah, I don't know what you expect. Maybe you'll put a dent in someone, or maybe you can rip some wires out. But this droid's been around for 5,000, 6,000 years. He's probably pretty well constructed.
Yeah, you would think so. He's had a couple upgrades and modifications over that time.
But then he I guess he turns off the electricity, and I guess just intuitively, Ahsoka's like, oh. That's a signal.
Sabine was like, "Oh, he broke it," and she was like, "No, he wouldn't do that."
Yeah.
Boom! Out comes the lightsaber.
And, I wasn't upset about it because anytime she,
yeah.
And was that the only time in this episode she used both?
Yes.
I was very confused because and I'm wondering if maybe it's because when you duel with someone with a lightsaber, it is better to just use the one.
Later on, she used Form 1, which is the same. Now I have to find my notes about that for you, but she used
Makashi? I don't even remember.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Grabs the map. When she's fighting Balin later on, she used it. Here we go. Form 1. She stood and. Just like Obi-Wan did in Form 1, she stood and with one hit. Oh, that was the other guy. Yeah, so she was using a Form 1 just like Obi-Wan used when Obi-Wan took out
Maul.
Mm-hmm. So it was very similar to the same thing because that must be the best form to use against another lightsaber battle.
And it was cool to see in that scene too, these two people trained by the Jedi, clearly going through and reading each other. And again, I get what they were trying to do. It was just annoying because it took so long. But they moved to a different position. The other, it's like they both are well trained.
Yeah, they're both well trained.
And so they have to figure out what's the best move against the other, who's also well trained. And you think about Ahsoka at this point. She's got to be the equivalent of a Jedi Master at this point. You know what I mean?
You would think so, but with her knowledge and abilities and stuff, she's probably practiced a lot, and
she's probably one of the stronger Jedi still alive.
Yes,
Luke's out there, but she's been a Jedi for 25, 30 years longer than Luke.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see just the forms and they were clear. But again, it just took too long.
I was some post on Facebook. It said, "So let me get this straight." Luke goes away to Dagobah for a weekend and is suddenly a Jedi Knight, and we're okay with that.
Right.
But Ahsoka's trying to train Sabine, and we're angry because Sabine can't learn the Force in a week or something like that. It was something along those lines.
Yep.
But it was just funny to me. I was like, yeah, like in 77, to us it didn't matter, but now everybody is so into everything that it's just like, oh no, that can't happen, blah blah blah, whatever. Yep. So they come out and they're fighting the robots, and they just pretty much slice through the robots pretty quickly.
Yep. And I like at the end, Hu Yang's on the ground and he just dusts himself off and gets up again. Hu Yang on the ground. Yet again, and
again,
twice in the same episode. Yeah. And for this specific fight, Ahsoka did not take off her robe, so you knew it wasn't going to be a big deal.
It wasn't going to be a big deal.
Yeah, this is easy. I'm going to leave the robe on.
Yeah,
I don't need full range of motion.
No, I'm going to be able to handle this with my robe on. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. And then when they're done, they decide that they're going to go scamper off into the woods.
Yeah, and ignore Hu Yang's last piece of advice, of course.
Right. His last piece of advice was, you always work you two are better together. Yeah. And they're like, okay, that's nice. We're not going to do that though.
And again, it's like this weird back and forth that Hu Yang has of, you should do this. Work at it. Stop making excuses. You suck. You're the worst ever. You shouldn't be a Jedi. Oh, you two are great together. Like, he's like an abusive boyfriend.
He is an abusive boyfriend.
He's like, you're terrible. You're the worst. I love you. You know I love you, baby.
You know I don't mean any of that stuff. I'm just
playing with you.
I'm just playing with you. So then we get to the next scene where we see Hera and the Rebel Force, whole.
And she has the cute little dialogue with whatever underling that is. And she's
she has like an ensign. There's an ensign there when she's like, I'm leaving.
You can't do that. Watch me.
Oh. What do I do? I'm a general, so I'm leaving. Yeah, she pulled that general card again.
Straight up. Like, that's the first thing that comes to her lips. Yeah. Like, she just pulls that. She's like the person who gets pulled over and shows the badge.
The badge, the FOP card. Yeah. She's like this. She's pointing to her chest. You see all these red dots? See all these red dots here? I can do whatever I want.
It means I make the decisions.
I make the decision. I make the rules.
Yep. And of course,
I'm the captain now, is what she said.
Our favorite X-Wing pilot is one of the rebels with her.
Yes, Carson. And, of course, if she's going to go off into battle, the first person you grab to be your co-pilot is your 10-year-old son.
Of course, why not?
Of course, why not?
No, it's high time kids today learn the value of hard work and risking your life.
Risking your life.
By 10 years old, I had almost been in 7 intergalactic battles by that point. And like in 3 of them, I crashed. All right. So like, how about you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Mr. Syndulla?
Let's go, Jason.
What do you think your dad would be doing? He was a Padawan by the time he was your age. He was lifting cars with the Force. You've got green hair and you can't act.
And you can't even say the 2 lines that you have.
He was better this
He was a little
He didn't
better.
have many lines, but they were less cringy for sure.
I have a bad feeling about
that was
this.
a little cringy.
Yeah.
That was not because of his delivery, but it was so on the nose. Oh, there it is, guys.
There it is.
They had to fit it in.
We had to get it in. Every movie.
He didn't even finish it. He said,
I
got
have
a bad feeling.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. You can't do that.
Yeah, if you're going to use the line, use the whole line.
Right.
Don't just use half of it. So, she's about to fly off, and then Carson comes over, and he's like, hey, if you're leaving, we're leaving. We're with you all the way.
Did you say they're Gold Squad or Phoenix Squadron?
Phoenix.
Was it Phoenix Squadron?
I think it was Phoenix Squadron, yeah.
Because I think she called her Phoenix leader or something, right?
Yeah. So then they're sitting going with her. I thought for sure when they were cutting through all of the different X-Wings that Zeb was going to be flying one of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen him yet. And I read something that said we will see just about all the cast members, so I'm sure we'll see him.
Yeah.
They
teased it. Yeah. If you're going to tease it in The Mandalorian, then show him to us in this. Yeah. So I was like, okay, come on. And then I thought, well, maybe he'll be on the Ghost because this is the first time we saw the Ghost also. Right. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's sleeping in a bunk in the back, and he's like, hey, where are we going?
Right. I was, for as bad as your Sly Stallone was, that was a pretty good Zeb.
That was a good Zeb?
It really was. I was impressed with that.
So they jump off in the hyperspace and they take off. Then we see Morgan Elsbeth is using the map to find her buddy Thrawn. Yep. She's like, I need to find him. So she's using all her witch powers.
Is this when Balin, she says, you see, is that fear? Mm-hmm. Have faith. Faith. I lost that a long time ago.
And she's like, is that fear? He's like, no, it's experience.
Yeah.
So he knows Ahsoka because they were, or he knows of her at least. If he doesn't know her personally, he knows of her.
Because he even said later that Anakin spoke highly of her.
Yeah.
And he knows who Anakin is and what Anakin became.
Right.
Which most people don't.
Right.
Like most people in the galaxy
Maybe
don't know
at
that
this
Anakin...
point, well, I don't know. Yeah, because I'm sure not many people know that Anakin became Darth Vader. But
and at this point, probably a lot of people don't even remember
Yeah,
in the galaxy. I mean, maybe like some of the Jedi, Fallen Jedi, and like generals and stuff. But most people in the galaxy at this point probably have forgotten about him, or else they, I don't know.
Yeah, because this is now after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
So he's been dead for 10 years or so, maybe.
Yeah.
So
and where's Luke in all this? Just gallivanting around the galaxy.
Luke's just hanging out. He doesn't care about Thrawn. Whatever.
They'll handle it.
Oh, speaking of that, I did finish the third Thrawn book. Of the original series.
So you when you said last time, we never really see Thrawn die.
Yeah. So I didn't like the way it ended for him.
Yeah, it was like a weird, because it was Rook, right? Who killed him?
Yeah. And it was just like he was on a ship and he just like.
I liked the way he responded to it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like smile and like, it's beautiful, whatever. But like. It surprised me for like such a big character. I figured there was more to his story. I thought there
would be a bigger death scene for him than that.
Yeah. And then you met Luuk.
Luuk
Skywalker.
Luuk, yeah.
Yeah.
And like Sabaoth's death scene was more poignant and bigger than Thrawn's death scene, and I was like, I'm like, wait, did I just read that right? He just killed him? I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's it. He's done.
I'm like, okay.
Although I think in some of the later Legends books, there's like attempts to revive him and bring him back from the dead or some crap like that.
Which I can see that, because he kind of like, it was so quick that they could have maybe somehow taken him to like the med floor or whatever, and like maybe tried to throw him back to it, because that works for everybody else.
Sure does.
So anyway,
worked for Sabine.
It worked for So okay, so that's enough about read the books. They're awesome.
They are.
There is actually a hint to the books in this, or a callback to it in this episode. Later on, Ahsoka says he's the
heir to the Empire. That's right. And they had used that line in the trailers as well. And now that you're mentioning it, I didn't even strike me because I thought that she had already said it, but I'm just realizing it had come from the trailer.
Come from the trailers,
but that is a direct hint towards...
Yeah, because that's the name of the first book, was Heir to the Empire. Yeah. So that was fun. So definitely read those books. They're really good. Whenever we see Thrawn, if he does turn out to be as
probably
awesome...
episode 8.
Probably at the very end, just like Anakin and Anakin 4.
And we'll get him in season 2.
Season 2, yeah. All of this, and we'll get him for 10 seconds. If that's the case, that's it. I'm done with Star Wars.
That's it. We're gonna turn into a strictly Star Trek podcast.
Battlestar Galactica.
That's
it. A strictly Battlestar Galactica podcast after that. All right, so then we see Morgan Elsbeth. She's using her witch powers on the map. She brings it up again.
Which apparently makes it very hot.
Makes it very hot.
We learn later on.
What type of witch is she?
She's a Night Sister.
Night Sister, yeah. So Night Sister powers are very hot.
And I guess we find out that Marok perhaps is a Night Brother.
Or so what I learned was that she was using her Night Sister powers to revive the dead.
And that is something that we see a lot in Dathomir, and we in Fallen Jedi Order, Jedi Fallen Order, as well as Clone Wars. So that makes sense. I got to tell you. I was very upset at the Marok.
Did you want it? Okay, so hold on. Let's see. Let me get to that because I don't want to. You know, we have very important stuff in this that we need to get to. So, she's going on. The other two are just running through the planet, trying to find some kind of town.
I guess she left her jetpack.
Yeah.
On the ship.
Well, if she can't have a jetpack and not Ahsoka, so
couldn't she just pick her up?
She
just
maybe
hold on to her and they can fly like.
Yeah. I might be just weighted specifically for her body type.
Possible.
Yeah. So, So then they're running, and then they get stopped by Shin and Merrick, and this is when the big fight happens with them in the woods. The woods. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was good. It was a good fight scene.
It was cool, but again, like, why give us this faceless assassin that is just going to turn out to be a no one?
A no one.
Like, it just seems so silly.
Yes.
Maybe we'll see him again, because if she's raising the dead, maybe she raises him again, and we see that, and maybe he's an important character that we don't even know. But like, it just was so like, it was like almost like the Thrawn death. You know, it was like, oh, he's dead now.
Oh,
what? I guess there was no intrigue in this character.
Yeah,
and oh look, his insides are green apparently, and dusty.
And dusty. Yeah. So, Sabine and what's her name, Shin, are fighting.
Right.
Sabine's using her guns. Pew pew pew.
Yes.
Against a Jedi.
Yeah, and she opens up with just shooting at her. I'm like, what, have you not been paying attention?
Right.
You fought alongside 2 Jedi. Do you know what they can do?
Yeah, and I know you're a Mandalorian, and this is what Mandalorians do, but you're also training to be a Jedi. So why don't you try lightsaber first, knowing your Mandalorian armor can protect you, instead of guns that they can just deflect with the lightsaber. So, but she was beating her. I
get that, like, you know, right now she sucks as a Jedi, and she's a much better Mandalorian, so it might as well go with your strongest suit first.
Right.
But blasters aren't it. Just try something different.
Yeah.
Where are your whistling birds? Why don't you have any whistling birds?
Right, exactly. So
Go find the armor. She's out there.
Yeah, use all your fancy weapons, not just your 2 guns.
And we haven't seen a single flamethrower.
No, very disappointing.
What the hell?
Yeah, some kind of Mandalorian she is with no flamethrowers.
Messed up.
So then they're fighting. She's holding her own with the guns, kind of. Then she starts to lose. Then she pulls out her lightsaber. So now she's
and her
kind
helmet
of winning.
falls off.
Her helmet falls off. Then
You've never once in our lives, we've been watching The Mandalorian for 5-6 years. We've never once seen a Mandalorian's helmet fall off in battle.
Just fall off.
And here it happens right here. Like,
right.
what?
Yeah. And on top of that, like, we've never seen, you know, Boba Fett. I mean, he wasn't in many scenes, but his helmet never came off. Mando's helmet never came off.
We saw a giant fight scene of hundreds of Mandalorians.
And not one helmet.
And not a single helmet just fell. Not even when, like, someone died, did they fall to the ground and just kind of topple off. That thing's on there.
She didn't strap her chin strap on.
You got to do that. That's a rookie mistake.
It is a rookie mistake. So then, just when you think she's about to die, then she does use some cool Mandalorian stuff. She hit her with her
the
Batman
grappling
hook.
That is like
stuff.
a Batman.
Yeah. So that was good. And then it looks like she's about to beat her. And then from one Batman to another, she used her smoke grenades and and then, like the true magician that she is, disappeared.
That's right.
So then Ahsoka beats
Marok.
And nope, it wasn't Ezra.
Wasn't Starkiller.
It wasn't Starkiller. It wasn't Maul.
It was just a dude in.
It was just a dead dude in a suit that was revived from the dead, and when he got sliced in half, his ghostly spirits disappeared again. So that was all it was. Yeah. So very disappointing.
Again, I just don't understand if that's the case. Like, why put him in like an Inquisitor outfit with an Inquisitor lightsaber?
Give him an Inquisitor light. Now, was it? Do you remember in Mandalorian when they killed the one Inquisitor that kind of looked like him, but I felt like he was much bigger than him, like seventh brother or whatever it was?
Yeah, I mean this guy's skinny. You know what I mean, he's long.
Well, maybe
and tall
now that he's
skinny.
dead, he lost all
of
his muscle
mass, and he's just like ghoulish.
Yeah, he's just ghoulish
possible.
now. So who knows? But anyway, so we find that out, and then that's no more Maul, no more Ezra, anyone else, and he's just a knight,
just a dude in a black suit.
Just dude in a black suit. So then Ahsoka then goes and confronts Balin.
And and of course at this point, she once again tells Sabine, "Go do your thing. I'm gonna go do my thing."
Right after Huang said,
"Don't do that.
Don't do that. Stay together."
Yeah.
It's just like in Top Gun. Always follow your wingman.
It's true.
Always, I'll be your wingman anytime. No, you can be mine.
Oh,
that's the last line in the movie.
Is it really?
Very close to it.
I know you're a big fan.
Yes, I've seen. I can recite the entire thing. But yes, never leave your wingman. So Sabine should have never left her wingman, and of course she does. And then this is what happens.
Yep.
So then Ahsoka goes and confronts Balin, and
so for this one, she takes the robe off. So you know she means
she
business.
does. She means business now. Okay, now she's like Rocky. Let's go.
Turn the hat. It's like a switch.
It's like a switch. Taking her robe off is the switch. It's like a switch.
She turns her leku just completely around.
She does.
So they have their little chat, right? And they're like, "Oh, Anakin spoke highly of you," and she's like, "I'm not here to talk about my past." And like every other fight scene, Ahsoka has waited for the other person to make the first move.
Right.
In this one, she didn't.
No.
Oh, I found that very interesting.
Yes.
And so they have their little fight, and they have their moments of like, oh, it didn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
And like, so Baylan, there's some internal struggles happening with Baylan. I feel like we're gonna see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him turn back to the light.
Yeah,
because when he was talking to Ahsoka, or when he was talking to Sabine later, it didn't seem like he wanted Thrawn to come back.
No, he said he wanted something about supreme power or something like that, which could be a reference to him wanting to get to the world without worlds, or what's it called at the end?
The world without worlds.
World without
world
worlds.
between worlds.
World between worlds.
But
so that's where the supreme power is, because he can go to any point in time. So those of you who didn't watch Rebels,
yeah, they're probably very confused.
They're very confused. Yeah. So the scene
and
at the
most
end,
of the show, honestly, because
that is,
you're probably pretty lost if you didn't watch Rebels at this point.
And I wonder. I think we talked about it last week. I wonder how many people are still watching who didn't see Rebels because they are so lost at these different characters, because it's nobody that they know. So I wonder how many people are still watching. But anywho, the world between worlds is this, basically it's like a teleportation area that you can go to different points in time and in history and in places
and in space
and get there in this virtual world. This not real, like it's like a teleporting without teleporting. You're just walking, and like we were talking about the doors over here and the doors over there. You just go through these little doorways, and you can go to different points in time. And in Rebels, Ahsoka went back at one point when Ezra was just
Ezra
about to...
went back.
Ezra went back when Ahsoka was about to get beat by
Darth Vader. Because earlier in the series, Ahsoka told them to leave her to deal with Vader, and we don't see her again.
Yes.
And then later in the series, towards the end, he saves her.
Right.
By pulling her through that.
By pulling her through the world between worlds.
Right.
So you can go to different points in time. It's not an infinite number of spots, but it's...
I think they have to be specific to you.
Specific to you, yeah. It has to be related to you.
And I think it's fun. I think just last week we were saying, yeah, I doubt we'll see the world between worlds in this.
Right,
I think
because it was so... Yeah,
that.
because it's so out there. It was such a jump from traditional Star Wars,
especially
when they had
on
it
the
in
screen.
Rebels. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in a cartoon, they can kind of get away with it a little better and easier. And honestly, I'm not sure how she got there because she just fell off a cliff.
She fell off a cliff, and then she just woke up and she was there. So it'd be interesting to see if they do a little backstory to tell us how she got there, or if she's just inside her head.
Right, like a Harry Potter. It's all in your mind.
Yes.
Platform 9 3/4 King's Cross Station.
Like
thing.
every single 6th grade story that ends with "it was just a dream."
Yeah.
So so it will be interesting to see if she's actually there, or if she's just envisioning this because she fell off and hit her head or something like that, which would be...
Of course it's in your head, my dear boy, but why on earth should that mean that it's not real?
Right, exactly.
That's your not Dumbledore. So they're fighting.
They're fighting. It's
they're talking.
fight.
They're fighting. They're talking. Again, every move he makes is very mechanical.
Yes.
Like he's very precise.
And he's angry, too. He's... the one video described that she was very deliberate with hers, and he was like very hacky with his. Like he's just like, I'm just gonna defeat you, and she was like, okay, knit 1, purl 2. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do form 1, and he's like, angry.
Right. Well, and that's kind of reflected in what you said to Sabine last week, where the dark side. Or your anger can give you power, but it leaves you off balance.
It leaves you off balance, yeah. And then that's also foreshadowing for then what happens in this fight. As they're fighting, Shin comes back. Right. And Ahsoka immediately assumes
that she killed
Sabine. So then she gets angry and uses the Force very angrily.
To throw her against the wall, yeah.
Dark-sided, very dark-sided.
That was definitely meant to be a moment of...
weakness for her.
Yeah, and I think they're going to play with that throughout the series about like her tapping into the dark and we've talked about her, her path and what it means to be a Jedi and stuff like that. So
yeah, and how she since she is not a true Jedi by her own definition, whatever
identification.
Yeah, she can kind of tap into the dark side a little bit if she really wanted to.
But also, she'll probably find out that it'll leave her off balance.
So she gets angry, throws Shin very hard into the wall, gives her a concussion. She's knocked down. And then she's off balance.
This is after she's already grabbed the orb, right?
Yeah, I forget which time. Yes, but anyway, we can talk about that also.
Because I think it is because she grabbed the orb. But then how did Sabine get it? Did she drop it?
Sabine had the orb. She dropped it because it was burning her hand.
Right, that's right. She grabbed it. Apparently, it's very hot.
It's very hot. All that dark
she
sister
just
magic.
The Force to grab it?
No, because it was on the dark sister flame.
Oh, and there's some sort of thing.
Yes,
the Force.
protecting
something. The Force.
Right, you can't have. It's like magnets. You can't have positive and positive together. So dark sister magic is the same as Jedi magic.
You got to use your hands.
You got to use your hand instead.
And she even had gloves on. It must have been real hot.
It was very hot because
And she held onto it for a minute too.
She did hold on to it for a minute, and then she dropped it. Now, some people were referencing it to Indiana Jones when the bad guy grabbed the thing, burned his hand. Then he had the map of
on
where
his hand, yeah.
Hand.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see. We didn't see her hand. It'll be interesting to see if she does that to get them there because Hera's is there kind of now.
Right.
Or if just because she's in the world between worlds, if she's able to get wherever she needs to go.
Yeah.
In between the world between worlds.
Oh yeah, maybe she just looks at her hand. Oh, I'll just take that door.
That door over there, the third door to the right.
Straight on, third start to the right and straight on till morning.
So they get in the fight. She drops that. Blah blah blah. She's fighting, and then
Sabine hits the wall.
Yes, and then that
her hand hurts. You can only fight with one hand.
She's fighting with one hand, and then that makes Balin angry. So then he pushes her off the cliff.
So he pushes her off while Sabine is there, right? Because Sabine sees her fall.
Yes, but she doesn't see Sabine. I don't think because she
does see Sabine.
She does see.
Yeah,
Sabine.
I'm positive. She's pissed. She throws her against the wall, and then she continues the fight a little bit. And then he has her down, and they're like this. And she does this, and then she sees Sabine. She's like, Sabine.
Oh,
and then
okay.
He's just like,
and that's when he's like, go off. Yeah.
And then she's like, no.
He said, kick rocks.
And then I think that like at that point Sabine's like, oh, I guess Ahsoka's dead.
Right. So now this is
what
what
other choice do I have, sort of a thing.
What is that? Romeo and Juliet.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you ate the poison. You're dead. I'm going to take the poison. Oh no, you weren't dead.
Guess I'm dead.
But now I'm killing myself because I thought you were dead. So now Sabine thinks that she's dead. So now she's pulling the Juliet card, and instead of taking poison, she's listening to Balin, who's telling her all about how he can help her and he can get her to Ezra.
And he reads her mind.
Yeah.
Right? We see him like close his eyes and take a deep breath, and all of a sudden he knows about Ezra.
Uh-huh.
He knows their relationship, so it's pretty clear that he
tapped into that
part of the Force
that
like we see Kylo Ren use, and we've seen a couple different dark side users use. And she's got this gun to the thing the whole time, and I guess she was just going to shoot the thing. She was going to shoot
the map in her hand because they didn't. The map using Dark Sister magic. They were able to connect it to a computer,
right?
Which is always how it works.
Sure,
yeah.
Magic and computers go
hand in hand. And so the computer was able to then slowly track the trajectory that they needed to go to get to the place, even though she had the map that pointed to the spot. So why she couldn't just zoom in on the spot and go, that's where we need to go.
So the way I read that is, in almost every Star Wars thing you hear about them, like, oh, it'll be like X amount of time until I can, get everything into the hyperdrive coordinates. Yeah. And this is a different galaxy. So it's a lot more calculation.
Yeah.
And then when they actually go, you see all these weird things happen. So it's got to be a longer process, I'd imagine, which I can get behind. I
get it. But I can't get behind the magic into computers thing. That's a little weird. But anyway, so they have to wait for that, and then when she takes this,
although like when you think about what a holocron is, it's pretty much the same thing, right? It's a little machine that you can only unlock with the force, and it gives information. So I guess there's some precedent for objects like that.
Sure. Okay. I'm back on board.
Yeah, love it.
Very easily. Look how easily persuaded I am.
Love it.
Love it.
Get the beard back.
So then Balin doesn't kill Sabine. He now uses his words to trick her into joining them. So
Hati sure tries.
She tries.
She's like, girl, I'm going to choke the hell out of you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When she's coming back. Because it was funny. She basically was like, okay, I'm on board. And then she's making this face.
Yeah. I thought he had double-crossed her for a second. Like, oh, no.
Oh,
Hati's pissed.
And then he's like, leave her alone. And then she's like, "Urgh."
So, by the way, something I didn't even catch, and I don't know how I didn't catch, Skull and Hati are in Norse mythology. They're wolves
yes,
that chase the sun in a constant, basically race. They chase the sun up and down. So we know that Dave Filoni is a big fan of wolves.
He's a big fan of wolves. Yes. So they are named after that, which is a total nod to our boy Dave there.
Yeah.
There was another thing in here. I wrote it somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I missed it already. But there was something else about some other the guy that she cut in half.
Murrock.
Yeah, Murrock is also another. I forget what. Might be Norse mythology as well.
Oh, it means wolf, right? Or
but
something like that?
It was is an enchanted knight that was turned into a werewolf.
Right.
So that's why also where he was enchanted, like they brought him back from the dead, so he was enchanted. So he was an enchanted knight also turned into a werewolf. So there he was also a wolf as well. Good. So a whole bunch of wolves because Dave Filoni loves the wolves. Yeah. Okay, so Sabine, he doesn't kill her.
For the 1,000th time this series, Sabine basically gives away something that Ahsoka worked very hard to get.
Right, in 2 minutes. She's like, okay, fine. All right, let's go. And then Hera shows up with Carson and Jason.
Just too late.
And
they just say, hey, look at that giant ring thing. Let's just fly directly at it.
Let's fly straight at it. Let's not stay far away. Let's not go at a weird angle. Come from the sides. We'll go right into the middle of the ring.
Hey, there's a big power surge.
Uh-oh. We'll keep going straight at it.
That could be.
Wonder this looks like it could be a teleportation. What was it called? The the hyperspace. A hyperspace ring from a long time ago. Oh, well, let's just fly right to the middle of it.
Let's go through it.
Let's go through it. Let's see what's in the middle of it.
That sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, let's do that. All of us.
I played video games, and in video games, you fly through rings.
All the time.
If you're in a game like that, you see a ring.
Because once you fly through the one, you see the second one. And you got to get through all the rings to get the maximum points.
So they were just playing by the rules.
They were playing by the rules.
And, of course, Elsbeth doesn't play by the rules.
Nope. She says, I'm going to move the ring.
Yeah. And she pulls what's the lady from episodes 8?
When Mon Mothma, when she does that?
No, it was her buddy. Not Mon Mothma. It was the other girl.
The one that she, hyperspaces the
into
ship,
the Dreadnought.
Into the Dreadnought, yeah.
Except this obviously doesn't go through them. It goes around them.
It goes around them. And
by being in their hyperspace path, it messes with their systems, and 3 of them die.
They explode immediately, but of course they're
each other.
They're the other ones that we don't know their names.
What I like, though, is this time Hera and Carson and one other red shirt survived. Right? So they really pulled the tricksy on us. They're like, see, we gave you one. He's going to die next time.
Next week he'll die.
They need to leave someone to die next week.
Yeah, and that's when Jay says the classic line, "I've got a bad feeling."
Period. Dot.
And you
and
then
can go. Mom goes, that's not the line, you idiot. Grow up.
Finish the line already. What are you? 10?
I didn't raise you to be a dumbass.
If you're gonna say it right. Finish the line. Go to your room.
That's it. Don't come out till you think about what you've done.
Think about what you've done. So then they're floating. Kind of the 3 of them at least get their ships kind of back straight again, and then we see Ahsoka wake up and she's
laying in just a pool of not water,
and not floating, but it is
solidish,
solid reflectiveness underneath.
But I guess it's like the floor, right, of that little pathway, which is not solid but is.
And hey, look, it's the world between worlds.
And she's like, "Oh, I've been here before." And then all of a sudden, from behind her, she hears a voice that she knows. Studly Anakin.
Yes.
Non-burned, non-black suited,
CGI.
Did he even have the scar?
He did have the scar.
Okay, because I at one point afterwards I thought back on it. I'm like, I don't remember. But,
yeah, he had the scar, and he was wearing the clothes that he wore in Clone Wars.
They did a good again. I think they did a better job de-aging him in this than they did in Obi-Wan. In Obi-Wan, they had to de-age him a lot more for Obi-Wan because he was a Padawan, I guess. But it did look like Anakin in the Clone Wars. You know what I mean?
Right. But it was also, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's not like it was a body double. It was Hayden Christensen.
And I thought for a second they were going to go full Force Ghost because at this point he's dead and we've seen him come back as a Force Ghost.
And that would have been better if they brought him back as a Force Ghost, young or old. With that extra Force Ghost effect on him, you wouldn't have been able to tell that it was so de-aged CGI'd.
Right.
it would have been like, okay, it's just because he's a Force ghost, he looks a little awkward. But it was like, I'm like, oh. And then when I was watching with Trey, and he was like, what's wrong with his face? And I was like, yep. Exactly. So then he comes back kind of.
And he calls her Snips, right?
He calls her Snips, which, once again, for those of you that don't watch it, that's what he called her when she first joined the Jedi Academy, and she was his Padawan. He called her Snips because she was very snippy and all throughout. So, and then like he says like one line to her, and then
he smiles at the camera.
He smiles, and then it goes to black, then
a whole bunch of credits.
And boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, we get a little Vader theme.
Boom,
Yeah, that's right.
Boom, boom. Yeah, you hear the Vader theme, which was cool. I was like, yes,
yeah,
Vader.
I'm wondering. My thought is this, because it's the world between worlds, right? So, is it a Force vision? Is it a trick?
Is she asleep and envisioning this in her head? Is it real? What is it? Tell me.
Is it actually Anakin's Force ghost come back to talk to her? But in the world between worlds, it's less ethereal and more real.
Yeah.
We don't know because they don't want to give us information.
No.
They want us to wait till next week.
And they want to stretch it out to
give us
6 hours over 8 weeks.
36 minutes of walking and then 12 minutes of action.
Yes.
Or of story.
Of story, yes. So that's episode 4.
In a nutshell.
No,
this is episode 4 in a nutshell. Help, I'm in a nutshell. How did I get into this bloody nutshell?
Hi, I'm episode 4 and I'm in a nutshell.
I'm a fallen Jedi.
Ranking the 4 so far. Episode 3 is still my lowest. This one had some good lightsaber battles.
Yeah, for me, I think 2 might be the lowest.
Okay.
I liked 3 because I like 3 had the dog fight, right? Where they were.
Yeah, 3 was like only 3 scenes basically.
Yeah.
Like,
but I did like I think the best thing they've done in these shows is the like space battles. Yeah, like they all look great for the most part. I liked what they did with the enemy craft, and they were like the World War I bomber sort of style. I don't know. It's hard. I'm gonna have to rewatch all 4. I think because
if you only need 20 minutes.
That's true. I'll put it on 1.5 speed. That way it actually makes sense. I don't know. I put this up there with. I think 1 is still my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's no. I haven't had a moment yet, and I said I don't sound like I love it. Because I don't know that I love it. I like it. But I haven't had any moments where it's like, oh my God, this is I can't believe this is happening. This is great. Like,
and I don't think there's been any like crucial segments or scenes that it's like changing Star Wars, other than the fact that they're now training Sabine to be a Jedi, which until this point you had to, be born with the powers to do so. Right. So that, and I don't know if they're changing that for the better or the worse, or just making it more 2023 where anybody gets a trophy.
Right. Well, so it is more in line with George Lucas's vision of the Force, I think.
Okay.
Where because like we talked about last week, when you create the movie and your first lines about something are, it's in everything.
It's in everything. Yeah.
It connects us. It binds us. It holds. It makes more sense to me that anyone can learn to manipulate.
If you train hard enough, you can learn it. We did see Sabine use the Force.
Yeah. Did that work, or was she just like recoiling?
And that's what I couldn't tell. To me, it looked like she was just recoiling. One of the videos said that she used it a little bit, but was still very weak in it.
Yeah, maybe she like tried for a huge Force push, and she just did like a. Like just pushed her head back a little bit. Yeah, just pushed
her head back a little bit. But I felt like
that was a Rock'em Sock'em Robots moment.
It was. But I felt like you said, where she kind of like was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Oh wait, nothing happened.
Yeah. Because she did say immediately after, "You have no power."
You have no power.
Avengers Hockey says 1423 for his order.
Okay, so he likes this one the second best.
I think I can get behind that. I think I might put 3 before 2.
So 1, 4, 3, 2 for you. What happened in 2? I don't even remember.
2 was not a lot. It was the one where Sabine gets revived, right? They do the bomb thing.
Okay, yeah.
And they have to go try and retrieve the thing again. The first 2 run together for me because they were released together.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't remember. I just remember liking 1. But then thinking like 1 and 2 were the same thing. Where's the stupid episodes? Here we go. So 1 was part 1 of Master and Apprentice, and then 2, part 2, Toil and Trouble.
Oh, that was when we learned that she was a Night Sister.
Ahsoka and General Hera Syndulla travel to the New Republic shipyards and make an that
was the one with the Empire.
The Empire. For the Empire. Yeah.
Which was fine.
It was fine.
But again, I think that's
I think this would probably be the second one as well. And then 2 or 3 could flip-flop either way for me. Maybe 3 and then 2. Because I think I did, like you said, I do like the dogfight scenes in 3. But I think the fact that 3 was only basically like 3 different scenes, like 3 10-minute scenes each, it was like, okay, like we said, it could have been done in half the amount of time.
All of this could have really.
And we still got to have the same effect for it. So.
And I don't see the pacing changing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see them like next episode deciding, let's pick it up.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to have to deal with slow pacing and...
Right.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So so I could get behind 1, 4, 3, 2 because of the dogfight scenes. Mm-hmm. So I can get behind that. Yeah. All right.
So that's episode 4. We are halfway through the season.
We're halfway there.
Well, living on a prayer.
We're living on a prayer.
Next week we will hopefully get to see a little bit more of the World Between Worlds, a little bit more Hayden Christensen.
Maybe de-aged.
Maybe
and re-aged.
Maybe some Thrawn, but I doubt it. I don't know. They're on their way now, so who knows?
They are on their way. Maybe so at the end of this one. So this one, episode 5, is going to be a lot of Hayden Christensen and Snips talking and maybe going somewhere other than to see Thrawn to whatever. Maybe it would be cool if they went and saw Kanan. That would be pretty cool somehow. They went back in time or whatever. But so they'll probably jump around a little bit, and then at the very end, we will see. Maybe they'll like jump out to where Thrawn is and get the coordinates, and then write it down on her hand where it's burned in there. She can write 586-23-123,
and then she just go back
and then go back. Yeah, here you go, guys.
Just put this in your computer.
Yeah, put this in the Ghost. We're all gonna hop in the Ghost. Not Hayden Christensen. He can't, but
he'll meet us there.
He'll meet us there. Zeb will somehow manage to show up with them. That would be nice to see Zeb again.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of all the most ridiculous things that can happen and be like, you heard it here first.
So what they'll probably do, I think, is because they don't have the ability via the ring, they'll probably like put some reins on a Purgle.
Yes.
They'll sit on the Purgle's back and they'll just ride the thing all the way to
a big leather strap.
Just all the way around through the mouth, like in a bit through the mouth.
Yeah, like a horse bit,
and the
ghost will fly, land on its back.
And then I think probably Ahsoka will sit on top of the ghost.
Ahsoka will sit on top and hold the reins.
Because she's been doing a lot of spacewalking.
Yeah, she'll put on her
specially made
space suit, right? Yep. And
she'll sit on top of the ghost, which is on top of the Purgle, and she'll go... mush.
Yeah, and with her other hand, she'll hold the X-wings.
Oh yeah, with
the Force. Yeah, she'll hold them.
They come with them.
Yeah, so that they can come with.
Well, she'll only have one hand because the other one's burned. Is the problem?
The other one's burned. Yeah. She'll have just an ace bandage on it. She'll be okay.
Yeah, they have those in the future.
They have those in the past in the galaxy far, far away.
That's right.
Yeah.
Either way, we'll see when it comes next week. Right.
So we'll see if any of our predictions come true.
And if they do, like...
You heard it here first.
We're the guy, like, you got to write some letters to George Lucas. Like, hey, these guys down in Jersey in Rob's basement, they know what's up.
They know what's up. They know it all.
Yeah. So share us with your friends. Share us with your colleagues. Share us with your mom. Share us with your dad. Share us with your sister's friends, too. Yes. I heard your sister's friends really like Star Wars.
They do.
Again, we are Bantha Milk Podcast. You can catch us all over the place on all the social medias.
All of them.
Check out our friends in the Ears Up Network and sign our petition to bring back Rob's beard.
That's right. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back now. We want it back.
I think much like much of the action in this show, it's going to take a minute.
It will take a little while. It's going to be a slow burn to get this back. Yeah.
But I think that's all we got for y'all tonight.
I think so.
From all of us here. That's really only 2 of us.
The 2 of us
at Bantha Milk Podcast headquarters. We have spoken.
We have spoken.